Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records and reviewing new albums today. And we have the new album from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, their 27th studio album. Band was formed in 2010 by Stu McKenzie and some others that we'll get to. They've got 27 studio albums since 2012. This is Phantom Island. This is a little casing it comes in, and here's the actual album cover, and it is totally awesome with the horses on it. It's a concept album, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what it's about, but it does. In the first song says Phantom Island, Insane Asylum. It's got some orchestra on it. It's got some conducting by a guy from out of London named Chad Kelly. Again, this band has been around since 2010. 15 years, 27 studio albums. They play different genres. So this is more of a pop and a retro pop album with some orchestra. The orchestra's not overdone. It adds to the music. It doesn't feel like it's forced on there. I don't like albums necessarily with orchestra if it's overdone. This is a rock album. This is a pop album. It doesn't jam maybe as hard as we'll probably see them do these songs live and jam. Again, there's these lizards playing musical instruments, some fish, some horses, a building at the top on Phantom Island. Let's get into this thing track by track. Let's introduce the members real quick. By the way, check out my channel. We talk only about great music every day. We rank albums here. I just posted 2 straight shows of Billy Strings last night with the Punch Brothers, which was unbelievable. We're working on ranking the discographies of Kansas and Journey. I have Neil Young's new album to review this week. I have the awesome new original album by Van Morrison. We have, again, Stu McKenzie, who plays guitar, flute, keys, saxophone. Joey Walker on guitar. Lucas Harwood on bass. Ambrose Kenny Smith on vocals, lead vocals and keys. And Michael Cavanaugh on drums. Everybody sings on this record. Ambrose Kenny Smith sings some lead along with Stu. Some songs have multiple lead singers within it, and sometimes it's hard for me to tell who's singing, to be honest. But their last album was Flight B741. I did review that here also. This is similar. In fact, I think it was recorded around the same time with some of the same poppiness to it, retro pop. This came out on June 13th, 26 minutes long. The first song is called Phantom Island, title track. It's 5 minutes and 16 seconds. There's a retro feel at the beginning. The piano reminds me of the beginning of My Favorite Things, McCoy Tyner's piano playing. And then you hear this kind of sketches of Spain as the orchestra comes in. I don't want to compare it to those jazz greats, but it reminds me of that. But then you just get into some Burt Bacharach-y pop style 60s retro. I just woke up from a dream. So what it starts with, and he's describing this Phantom Island. It's so cool. There's some pop brilliance, and it's really tasteful, never forced. At the 3:30 mark, though, everything changes and it gets dark, and that's when we're going Phantom Island, Insane Asylum. I love that song. It melds really right into Dead Stick, which is next. Just a big party tune with horns. Love it. Horns work really well on the rocker here. And again, it gets a little darker 60s vibe within this song. So these songs are little journeys. None of the songs are too long. I think the longest song is the next song, the third song, Lonely Cosmos, which is 5 minutes and 35 seconds. This is a hard album to describe, you know. some of my reviews, some of the songs on bands that I do, it's a more cut and dry listen. I hear things different every time I listen to this album, and it's just really good. That's why I bought it. I don't buy every album that I review because I can't afford to. And I don't want to spend the money unless I really think I'm going to listen to it a lot. And I am going to listen to quite a bit. Lonely Cosmos is cool. Kind of has a Raspberry Beret pop thing going on from the 80s Prince. Eternal Return is next. Dreamy. Some nods to Frank Zappa at times. Vocally, a little R&B. In the middle eighth section, there's some funk in it. Everybody sings back up here. There's some humor in their music. Really dig it. Pamp Sync is next. Again, nothing's forced here. You don't feel like they're trying to force that orchestra down your throat. Everything works here in good synchronicity. Pamp Sync, there's so many ideas packed in these little short 4-minute songs. Unique, nice embellishments. Space Sick is next. Space Sick on a space ship. Ambrose Kenny Smith takes the third verse. Joey Walker takes the fourth verse. Stu McKenzie sings a verse in this. Again, everybody's talented. Everybody plays keys. I did see this band live at the Factory in St. Louis last summer and got my mind blown. Again, they're genre switching. Some of their music's hardcore metal. Some of it's pop. Some of it's jazzy. Some of it's jam band. Some of it is garage rock. Just a really interesting group. Aerodynamic is next. There's flute over some acoustic guitar. Ambrose Kenny and Stu shine on vocals. This is another great song on this record. Sea of Doubt's next. Stu plays the bass on it. Stu McKenzie is a guitar player and kind of mastermind behind this band. Also plays most of the bass on this record. In fact, he plays on song 1 and then 3 through 8 on bass, plus all the guitars here. Lucas Hardwood plays the rest of the bass on the album and does some vocals. Interesting that Stu goes ahead and just does the bass. Maybe it's because he's written the song on bass, or certainly just has a part and they trust him enough to do it and not let Lucas do it. I hear some T-Rex, again, I'm comparing, but you're talking retro rock. I hear some vocals of my buddy Kurt Biter, shout out. He's like, man, I hear some T-Rex. And I'm like, you know what? I was thinking about what that reminds me of. You're exactly right. Sea of Doubt's cool. Sound a little Mark Bolan trippiness going on here. And then the 9th song, Silent Spirit, early 70s style production. Groovy, dig it. Charlie's Angels reminds me of like the theme song from Charlie's Angels a little bit. Love how the orchestra works here. If you know who Tom Scott is, he did the arrangements on the Joni Mitchell, Court and Spark album. Rick Beato does a great interview with Tom Scott. Check that out. Again, subscribe to my channel if you like this stuff. It reminds me of Tom Scott's production on some of the albums he does in the 70s, LA Express. And then lastly, Grow Wings. Silent Spirit, by the way, might be one of my favorite songs on the record. Lastly, I have Grow Wings and Fly. These guys are talented as F. And they know how to enter a song. They know how to have fun. Cook Craig's on guitar also on this record. Lucas grooves on the bass on this last set. What do I give this album? I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5. I love this record. Phantom Island from the great Australian rockers, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Check out my channel, subscribe, like these videos, share these videos. Peace out. See you.